It's time. We should probably get going. Get into this thing. All right, here we go. Welcome, everyone. It is Thursday morning. I am Ron. This is Functional Fitness. This morning, we're going to move around a little bit. As always, my watch is telling me it's time to start. All right, so this morning we are going to, it's official now, my watch said so, we're going to do no weights. It is going to be starting out with warm-ups. We're going to go into balancey stuff from there, and then we will go to the floor. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but no weights. No weights, no hurting yourself with weights today. Yes, I can go for that. Step out to the side, bring it back in. Lateral step touch, out and back, out. And get the arms involved. Let's get palms up, overhead, palms down, and back down. Step out to the side. Take your time, toes forward, knees forward, hips forward. Rotate the hand within the socket. Step out, lift the palms up, right straight in alignment with the rest of the torso or with the shoulders and the hips, and back down. Out and up. In and down. Far back. So as you come to the middle, bring the arms back as far as you can, stepping out to the side, rotate the hands, bring them up over the top, start rolling those shoulder blades back, and in and down. Up front, all the way back, and down one more time each side. Out and up. Bring them down, last one. Up. Notice brain moves right from the start, moving the legs sideways, the arms forward. Whew. That's a hard way to start. All right, next thing we're going to do is just a march. Bring the knee up. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Small movements. And we're going to start bringing them up higher. Knees will come up just a little bit more. As you do, get slower instead of faster. Pick that leg up even slower, having to balance on that single leg. Just get a feel for it, starting out with that toe right next to the ground and starting to pick it up just a little more. Concentrating on that stance leg. Little bend in the knee, foot flat on the floor. Toes down there grabbing, all the weights from the ball of the foot to the heel. Feel it inside to outside of the foot. Don't let the foot roll at all. And up. And up. Feel the weight shift. As you lift that leg up, you're putting yourself right over that stationary leg where you should be. The whole torso moves, not just the hips out to the side, but the torso moves over that stationary leg. And up. And up. Whoa. There we go. I'm getting it. Arms up on the sides. And do a little cactus thing here. Go back to just a small march. As you lift that leg up, rotate the shoulders and bring it back. Again, slow movements. Shoulder girdle stays in a straight line as you bring the arms around. Whoops. And back. That's why we're making very small movements right now. To compensate for that little getting used to the weight shift. I tell you, rotation on a single leg is one of the hardest things we do. Around and back. Turn it, because you really have to force those hips to stay forward. If they start turning at all, you're starting to lose all kinds of balance. You want that foot flat, hips forward, as much stability underneath you as you can get. Core stays right on top of the hips as you rotate those shoulders. And around and around. Notice we're coming up just a little bit higher. Up. And now 2 on each side. So it's 1. See if you can do it, keeping that foot up off the floor. Other side. 1. I can't. And 2. Let's try that again. To the right. Tough one. And back. I should have practiced this more beforehand. And 2. There we go. Brain will come around eventually. 2. Other side. 1. 2. And up, and up. I love that. The first couple didn't have it. Finally, the brain got into it, and it got a whole lot easier. All right, skaters, right down here, around and back, hips forward. Just concentrate on that right now. So this isn't a big movement. Just make sure you're not rolling the hips. I mean, just feel what that does. If you do that, feel the stress on that knee as you do that. the movement. The hip is getting all sorts of stretching or strain on it as you try to bring those hips around. And then bring it forward, keeping the hips right straight out front. And it's a nice smooth move, putting no strain on those joints. Around and back, knee stays over the ankle, work the insides of the thighs to hold that knee right straight up. And around, we're going to go into a rotation as we do it. Small moves and back. Arms right straight out to the side. Foot comes around, find your balance, and then bring it around and back up. This one's hard for me. This one always has been. Around, whoa, around, and bring it up. Hips don't move. Shoulders rotate. Knee stays over the ankle, kind of. And other side. And up. Let's try this again. There we go. And up. That's why I got that monitor there, so I can see what I'm doing. And up, around. And really, you should keep an eye on yourself while you're doing these exercises so you can see that you're doing the form correctly. And up, around, and up. All right, this time we're going to bring that foot around. Hold right here in that skater, so bring that foot back. Drop right straight down. Back leg, knee and toe in the same direction. So as you bring that foot around on the back leg, you don't have the knee going out one side, toe going the other way. It's right straight down, push up through that front foot, and bring it in. To the other side, around. Small move, right straight down, knee tracks on that back foot, same as the toe, and then taking that front leg, pushing up through the heel, and bring it in. Remember, this is a hip hinge. So as you're coming down, you're pushing the butt back, going with that leg, and bring it up, other side, around, over the top, and up. Go just a little bit more. Drive through that front foot, bringing the other one up and around. Just like a lunge. It is a lunge. It's a curtsy lunge, so that's why they call it that. And back. It's not the back leg doing the work pushing off. It is that front leg doing the work driving up and over, down. So I'm going to have to go smaller because every time I come out here, my knee comes with me. I don't have that kind of flexibility, that kind of strength in that inner thigh to hold it in place. And up, around, and back. One more time each side. Take it down and bring it up, down, and up. Enough of that rotation. Let's just bring the butt up. Sorry, heels up to the butt in a hamstring curl. Hamstring curl. Bringing that heel up towards your bottom. Elbows back, shoulder blades back. Squeeze them. Palms down, elbows out, and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Balance on that single leg just for a count. Till just balancey day. Up, squeeze, and bring it in. And back. All right, this is as we bring the heel up into a curl. Hands come up as the leg comes up. Single leg push overhead. Bring it down and down. Other side. Foot comes right straight up. Knee pointing toward the floor on that single leg. Do that. And then do that, bringing that leg back down. So curl and heel up. Push overhead in the shoulder press. Bring it back down. And down. Up. So you may want a chair for this to help you out a little bit if you need it for the balance. Or a wall. I've got one right behind me. That helps. And I've used it more than once. Bring it down and down. A couple more. Up. Push. Bring it down and down. Remember what you're looking for here. Single leg, knee bent, foot flat on the floor, weight shift right over the top. Tighten that core up. As you bring the hands up, squeeze. Get those shoulder blades down toward the hips. It's going to help you balance so much if you can keep that core tight. And then back down again. Next, we're going to do reverse lunge. Stepping back. Stay on the one side. And bring it up. Back. And up. Take your time. Lift the leg. Step back. Again, all about being on that single leg out front. Through the ball of the foot to the heel. Flat on the floor. And step it up. concentrating. Remember, it is always the stationary leg doing the work. It's the one you want to think about, not that moving one. It'll figure it out. You want to really concentrate on this to make sure you got that foot flat on the floor. Again, most of your time walking is spent on a single leg. You want to be able to do that. If you can do it slow, no problems doing it quickly. And up one more time. Step it back. And up. Same thing, but this time as you come forward, knee up. So back and up. First one was hard for me. Weight shift forward just enough that you can find your balance here, and back again. So if you push off with that back foot, you're going to send all your momentum forward. You want to be able to keep that knee over the ankle on the front leg as you bring that other one up, balancing on that single leg, and back. My arms are off. It should be opposite arm, opposite leg for balance. Up and back. Bring it up. Pull it back if you need to. Tap the toe. Then bring it up off the floor, and then step back. The more you do this, the less you'll need to do it. Eventually, you'll be right here. Feel the quadricep working on that opposite leg. We're going to add to that up, out, and back. So nice and slow. You can take really small steps. Up, out, in, and back. It doesn't matter. You want to try to find that balance on that single leg. This is a good one if you have a chair right next to you to have it right. I always keep it right there. Have it right there in case you need it. So you're going up. And you may have to put the hand there just quickly. Find your balance. And then out, in, and back again. If you can shift weight on that single leg forward and back, you're going miles to prevent falls. Up, out, shifting weight, and staying on a single leg. And back and down. One more time. Knee up, kick out, bring it in, and down. Okay, let's make this a little more fun. Ready? We're going to step back 4 times with just a sprinter. 1, back, 2, whoa, 3, 4, go to kicks. 1, back, 2, back, 3, and 4. Back to sprinters 4 times. 2, 3, and 4. Going to kicks. 1, knee up, extend at the knee. 3, separate moves, out and back. Take your time. You go at your pace. I may be going a little too fast for you, and that is very possible. Step up. Other side, going back to just that lunge, reverse lunge. And up, concentrating on that front leg, pushing up through the heel. Knee stays over the ankle. Driving up. So what you're doing is you're rolling the hips underneath and then driving right up through that front leg. Back half of the foot. Arch to the heel is where all the weight is. Back and up. Start taking your time with it so that you can feel that control you have over those muscles. And then see if you can keep the foot up off the floor, bringing that knee up. And back. Opposite arm, opposite leg, go forward. And back. Up. And back. Front leg. Doing all the work. Those quadriceps, you should be feeling it. Front of the thigh. Whoa, into the glutes. Up and back. Extend at the knee if you feel that's comfortable for you. In and back. I'm bringing the chair up for me. Up and out. In and back. The slower you can do this. When we do those slow, controlled movements, that's fine motor muscles, so that we can do this. Out, in. You want to be able to control these movements all the way through. Up, out, in, and back. Again, small movements. The more you can keep yourself here, the easier it's going to be. If you're having any problems with going way back and bringing it way up front again, make it small so that you can take. And those movements are smaller because you're staying right up over your base of support way more. You're not way back having to shift weight as much. But little by little, you can adjust that and start going back just a little bit deeper. Out, in. I love these exercises. I always have. Balance exercises are so cool. And I think it's because I couldn't do them before I started doing these classes. It's like I didn't have this kind of momentum or this kind of balance to hold me with momentum. All right. 4 of each. I'll stop talking. Sorry. 1, back. 2 with the high knee. 3, whoa. 4, and now the kicks. Up and out. Bring it back. 2, you may need to stop right here. Get your balance, then step back, and then kick out. What I really want you to practice on is getting that momentum up front, stopping it, and even if you have to put the foot down here because you're uncomfortable, do it. 4, maybe. Let's go. Back to the sprinters. 2, 3, and 4. Out. 2, 3, and 4. Shake it out. Time to get a drink of water. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. So on that one, for those exercises, glutes, medial glutes, feeling those hips, tighten up to hold you in place, because if that hip drops out, foot's going to go with it, and these muscles in the hips get really weak, and they have a tendency to drop out, and then the foot will come off to the side, and you're completely out of balance, and you don't have a good base of support. And because the feet touch the floor, it's where all your base of support is. Everything's right there. All right. Weight out. So we did this one quite a bit, but this one's a good one, a really good one to get a feel for. Feet out wide, just a weight shift, side to side. Progression from this is to start to bring the heel up off the floor. So as I swing to the right, heel comes up on the left. Other side, same thing. Out. Notice I'm not going past. My knee's not going out. Again, if I'm out here, I have no support underneath me. Foot's flat. And the more you can strengthen those muscles up for alignment, not only does it make you safer from not falling, it also prevents joint injuries because you're not crimping those joints. And then if you can, up, whoa, and push back. Out or tap the toe and then lift. However you get there, it doesn't matter. Just stand that single leg with a little hip hinge in there at the same time. Back. A slow motion, side to side speed skater. Up and back. Whoops, there we go. And whoops, there we go. Push it up. One more each side. One to the left. One to the right. Stand up, sit down. Fight, fight, fight. All right. Forward lunges. Out. So as you step forward, heel. Take your time. Foot out. Heel touches. Down to the ball of the foot. Take that back leg. We're going to do the same thing. So push off, or lift the heel, I should say, and then drive through the front leg. Lifting the leg. Stepping forward. 2. Up. 3. How much camera do I have left? And 4. Harder one. Backward. 1. 2. 3. Into that lunge. 3. And 4. And back up. Let's do it again. Forward. Step. 1. Into that lunge. Bring yourself down just a little bit. Lift. Front leg does the work. 2. Heel. Ball of the foot. Front leg. Left. The other leg just kind of swings along there. And now you start to control it. Heel. Ball of the foot. And step up. Going backward. 1. Backward is tough. It's a harder one because we don't do it at all. We stop walking backwards. So what you want to do is really take your time and make it a small step if you need to. Down, up, step, down, up, and together. Shallow squat. Just like this. Feet shoulder width apart. So a little wider than hip width apart. Coming up, feet underneath the shoulders, Butt goes back. Knees come out over the laces of the shoes. Or in my case, the elastic of the shoes. Back down. I guess there's still laces. And up. Down. And up. As you come up, we're going to take right hand, reach to the left, over the top, and back down. To the other side we go. Up. And lift. Stretch that arm out. Down. And up. Down. As the arm comes up, same leg. So left arm, left leg for me. Heel comes up as I reach up over the top and bring it down. Other side. Reach. Heel up. Keep the toes straight forward. And back down. Up. You see where this is going, right? Right. You see what's going to happen next? If you can, lift the leg up off the floor. And reach. And bring it back down. If not, toe first, lift, and then come down. Up. And it may be just, that toe may be going constantly for you. That's fine. Going constantly for you. That's fine. Because eventually, as this strengthens up, you're going to get better at it. The other thing, you'll notice the spine or the torso goes right up over that stationary leg. You're always, no matter what we do, your balance is putting your torso over your base of support. If it's one leg, you're stacked right on top. And up. Down. And up. One more each side. A little cardio to this too. Upper and lower body moving together. Up. And back down. That's the other thing you want to think about that I should have cued earlier, is that as you're coming up, leg and arm are coming up together. You're working upper and lower body together. Everything's smooth. Nothing hits hard. Giving those joints a chance to take that nice and easy instead of taking that hard bounce back on the ground. And up. Slower you can go, the longer you can hold it, the stronger you are. All right, next piece is going to be tap out to the side and back in, out, and in. Same thing. Step out, reach to that side this time, and back. So this time, left leg goes out, right arm comes up over the top to the left, and bring it back in, out, over the top, and back. How am I doing this? There we go. Left and right, bring it back. Left and right. So this one's going to be a little more of a challenge. Out to the side, toe, reach, pull the toe up as you reach cross body and bring it back. You're really going to feel the glutes work on this one. And bring it in. What you're looking for eventually is just lift that leg out and reach to that side. This one's a lot harder than the last one we just did. Lateral leg lift, arm out to the side, bring it back. And then start getting a little bend into it at the same time. Again, watch the brain get better at this. It's figuring out where you're going to be. It's adjusting accordingly because you taught it that. Out and back, out, whoops, and back. Okay. There was some work involved in that one. Step back into a stagger, arm back, roll the shoulders, and bring it up. So stepping back, arm on the same side of the leg that goes back, reverse lunge, knee over the ankle, elbow comes back, rolling the shoulder blade. You don't go with it. You don't let the torso twist. It is back, shoulder comes back, and forward, other side, back, and up. Add to that if you will. Heel up and back down. Step back. Heel comes up as the arm comes back, and then back down again. Out, up, and down. Foot back, arm forward, hip hinge. Back is straight, in and out. If you need to, small step, arm out, you stay upright. However far you step back, you're adjusting to get yourself over that front leg. and back, out, heel up, keeping the knee back, and in. One more time. And back up. Other side. Pull. And back down. So again, what you're working on here is if you're moving forward, bringing those arms in at the same time that the foot's coming in, put your weight all right here in the center. So if you start to fall forward, you want to try to bring yourself back to the middle. You've got to pull everything in using those upper shoulders to get you back over your base of support. All right, what do we got next? Stepping out to the side. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And back. If I'm going too fast, take your time. Slow down. Out. Slow down, Ron. And you may be getting tired because this is a lot back to back. There's a lot of aerobic in this, getting that heart rate up just a little bit. So what's going to make this a little more fun, this one right here. 4th step, elbows back, squeeze, palms forward, out, in, out, and in. Step, elbows back, forward, and bring it back. And now we can start adding heel to butt. Squeeze it. And down, out, and in, down, up, heel to the butt, step out, heel to the butt, other side. So the leg is going sagittally, front to back, elbows out to the side while you move laterally. 1, 2, step, and bring it in. And there was that. Step out to a wide squat. Right here. Down. As you come up, push the arms up overhead. Foot comes in. Out and down. Push up as you come in. Pull. You're pulling the shades down. You have really big shades. And up. Down. Upper and lower body move together. Notice as you come up, lift that leg. Single leg pushing up and down. Over. Nice and slow. Elbows and knees bending together. And then up. Driving slow motion. Steve Austin, the $6 Million Man. Down. I don't do that very well. Probably nobody even remembers it. Up. Step. Shoulder blades back. Chest is out. Push. Smooth movements. Working those fine motor muscles. Upper and lower body. Controlling the movement completely. Push it up. And down. And up. Like that. Take a break. We're not done with this yet. We got a few more to do. Did I mention it's Balance Day here at Romper Room? Miss Judy here. Today's Balance Day, everyone. I got to get one of those big, like, magnifying glasses like she had. I see Billy and Susie and Timmy and... All right. Next. Take a break. Some deep breaths. Easy. Heels up. And back down. Concentrating on ball of the foot on the floor. Think about it. So we're really, all of these movements are based on a fundamental movement, and that is whatever's touching the floor is touching as much as possible. You have as much surface contact as possible. The more you can do this slowly while you're thinking about it, the more likely it is that that'll happen automatically as we hardwire that brain to do the right thing. Up. And back down. If you don't even notice it, all of a sudden you're going off in crazy directions with the feet, the legs. We're not picking the leg up. You really have to concentrate. Once you get it back, it comes right back. It's a muscle memory thing. It remembers what to do, even if we stop doing it. And bring it back down one more time. Up Arms up, shoulder blades back, and bring it down, making balance just a little more fun. But you'll also notice shoulder blades back makes it easier because it's forcing you into neutral, and you're stacked. When you're out here bringing it up and you're leaning forward, it's a lot harder than if you bring those shoulder blades back and put yourself over the middle and back down. So eventually you start rolling those hips underneath and coming right straight up in all your movements so that you're not out of balance. You're always evenly weighted front and back, side to side, up and back down. One more time, up and back down. Toes up. This one's harder. This one's a lot harder. So what you don't want to do is this. That's what happens automatically to catch yourself. But what you're not doing is you're not working the muscles in the ankles and the lower leg to help balance you. You're not getting used to being on those heels, just the heels, and balancing, because right here, your base of support is just those heels. You want to be over them and back down, up, and back down. Where's my chair? So the last thing I need is to go falling on my butt. Up and back down. I'm not sure my back would like that. Up and back down. Hold it there for a count and back. One more time. Up and back. We're going to rock. We're going to rock this place. Rock this place. Rock it inside out. Heel up. Toe up. Stop. Re-engage. And back. Try to hold for just a count. And back. Let's get the arms involved. Up with the arms on the heels. Back. Toes come up. Arms come up behind you. Forward. And back. Up. And back. One more time. Up. And back. Couple more. Tandem stance. Feet, one in front of the other, but you want them a little bit apart to start out with. Just get a good feel for this before we go into the full tandem, or if you can, find the spot that you can just hold yourself in place, keeping those feet flat on the floor. If heel to toe doesn't work for you, you're not alone. That's a regular thing. For a lot of people, that limited base of that one straight line is really difficult. You may have to pull that foot out to the side, but you want to get used to bringing that toe in as much as possible. So you have to use the core, and you have to use those legs, the muscles all the way down the legs to keep the feet flat. From tandem, we're going to lean. We're going to lean forward, out, putting that weight into the front leg, and then pull it back. Knees still bent in the back. Don't lock it out. You want to have control of that knee. If it's locked out, you've got to drop it. If you're here with a locked out knee, and then you start to lose your balance, you're going to drop out of that lock, and you're changing your momentum is all you're doing. If that knee is always bent, you always have control. It's slow, it's controlled movement, back. And if you can, forward with the heels in tandem, heels up, and then back with the toes up. That back foot doesn't come up. Forward and back. Up and back. Stay here. Keep this side to side. So for me, I'm going to start out a little wider on this because I want to get the feel for it first. Reaching out and coming back in, out to the side. Feel the weight want to shift out. Work the foot. Work the inner thigh to pull that foot flat on the ground. And back up. Out. Reach. Bring it back. And in. What you're teaching yourself here is always keep yourself over your base of support. So the hips are in alignment. If the hips go with you and you start falling to the side, you're going to go that way. You've got no support anymore. If you can keep those hips over the legs, get it back in there and bring it back. you're going to have a much better chance of being able to keep yourself upright if you ever get into this situation. Out. I always think of the state fair when I'm like this because it's always so crowded. Out and back. Other side. Starting with those front to back movements. Out and back. I've got my feet quite a bit apart. I'm going to start bringing them together. But again, I want to get my brain figuring this out before I get into that most limited position I can have. Up and back. Bring them a little bit more in line. Out. Chair's right there for me. And back. Reach out. Heels up if you can. And back. I start very limited on this. As I do that reach forward, hip hinge is crucial on this. If you catch yourself, so this is, we work on this, neutral spine all the time. It's a hip hinge. If you let the shoulders go forward, all of a sudden, you're putting all your weight there. You want to be back here. You want to be over those hips. Back. And up. Even though everything's going out there, you're still feeling very secure back here in the middle. Out. And back. Side to side. Reach. And other side. Again, I started out with a wider stance. Just getting the feel for this first. And then out. Bring it back. Take yourself out to that challenge. You know that point like when you're in a chair? It's Stephen Wright who does that. That point where as you lean back in your chair, right before you're going to go backwards, that feeling, that's what you're looking for. But don't fall. Back. Whoa. And in. Out. Reach. And back. One more time. Out. And back in again. Tell you what. Yeah, let's do one more. Let's do one more of these. I like these. Feet together, side by side, right here. As close as you can get them. If you can get them touching. Perfect. First thing, arms out. Lean to the side. This really shows what we're trying to do all the time with keeping the hips straight. Out. If you rotate as you're doing this, you're completely gone. It's over. As long as you're straight, you stand a much better chance of bringing yourself back up. That means the core has to be strong. Core without the floor if you need. And back. Wednesday and Friday mornings, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock your time. Out. Be there. And back in. Out. And back. And in. So that's hard. It's harder. Arm up over the top and lean. Whoa. Got a little lever length on top of it now. Reach. And the great thing, you just keep doing these and you'll notice, whoa, that you can get farther out to the side and still maintain your balance. Up. Feel those muscles working in the inside or the outside of the hip, inner thigh. Bringing those legs back as you reach out. And in. Up. And back. Out. And bring it back in. Let's go to the floor. So hopefully with all of this, my lower body's tired. That's a lot of work that was put into those muscles. They were working constantly. Every time you took yourself right to that tipping point, muscles have to work so hard to bring you back again. So you should feel it. Challenge yourself. Always challenge yourself. So a couple things I always talk about is that good way to do that is with your back close to the wall. Wish I had a wall sideways. With your back close to it, not leaning against it and doing this. Although I will say, if you put your back against the wall and then do those bigger movements just to get a feel for them. So you can't do this because you're wobbling all over. Put your back against the wall first and then get yourself and then start pulling yourself forward. So the more you do this, you're against the wall and then you start leaning kind of forward so that you're doing the work through the leg instead of the wall behind you. So I'm saying you should be doing this every day. On the floor, no weights. No weights. We missed one of the fun ones. We'll get it next time. What are we doing first? Arms up, lower back on the floor. Always starting with the crunch first. Knees up, one leg extended, squeeze those lower abs. Find out if your back's on the floor. If not, stick something under there so that you do have stability. So you do have that ability to sense, to feel if the back is flat on the floor. And then you can extend both legs out. So another good way to progress on this one is keeping the lower back flat. Hold it. Keep those lower abs tight. Extend one leg out, and then keep doing that. Don't ever let that lower back come up off the floor. And then you get to the hardest point of both legs out. And then back in again. Slow movements, contraction, time under tension. Longer you keep those lower abs tight, the stronger they're going to get. All right, what are we doing first? Hold on, I have to look here. Hip tucks. We did that. Next, march. So what are we looking for here? Don't let the hips roll side to side. Just like we just had, lower back on the floor. And again, start walking those heels out. Up. A little farther, lower back, always on the floor. And for me, if I can feel it once, what it's supposed to feel like, and I'm walking the heels back in again, keeping the core tight the whole time, not letting me shift side to side. Once I get a feel in my head for what it should be like, it's much easier to get it there right away. And then every time I do an exercise, I know what that should feel like with that lower back on the floor. Up, up, and up, and back. Same thing, except if you can, lift one foot up, then lift the other, and then do a march, but without the feet touching the floor. And again, lower back on the floor, extending at the knee, finding that tipping point where you just cannot hold the lower back on the floor. But I'll tell you, all the work you've done with that lower back on the floor up to this point is all working to strengthen that up so that the next time you do this, or later down the road, those legs will start to be able to go farther because you'll be able to keep the lower back on the floor longer and then back in again. So even if it's just heels to the butt, and then as soon as you start walking those feet out at all, even an inch, that lower back comes up. And that's all the farther you go. You're challenging you for where you're at right now so you can improve upon that. And remember, you can't work out and not get stronger. Not possible. Not possible. Legs up, hands out to the side. Crook position, legs right together. Got them? Drop. Okay, so this one I want you to be really careful on. This is going to be a really small move. What we love to do is bring those legs down. And when we do these windshield wipers like this, these modifieds, what we don't talk about, and I never did at first either until somebody came to me and said, I hurt my back doing those. And like 3 more people came. It's a small move. It's not all the way down. I'm not going to do it, but trying to get as much twist as you can. It's just bringing that out to the side, squeezing the abs, keeping the spine in neutral. The lower back is off the floor. You're starting to twist here, but the shoulders are flat, so all the rotation's happening. Lower half of the back, thoracic spine, down to the hips, and then the other side. Those knees being out, extended like that, is giving you lever length. You have to work harder to keep them from just dropping. And really important, don't let the back come off the floor as you bring the legs back up. And that's where people usually get hurt, is coming back up. We have this tendency to really just try to swing them up, and then we hurt the lower back. Use the muscles in the core to do that lift back up. I don't know if you noticed I pulled the feet up off the floor. If you can do that, great. But be careful of the lower back. Down and up. Down and up. So the reason I have the arms out to the side is to maintain the shoulders, to make sure that upper back doesn't turn, making the thoracic spine, the middle of the back, where the rotation happens, do the work. Think about neutral. Think about neutral. You always want to be there. Feet up yet. We're going to do a crunch. Shoulders up toward the ceiling. Exhale. Tighten the core muscles up. Bring the shoulders toward the ceiling. And drop down. Again, if you've gotten the hang of this, we've done it for a long time. If you've gotten the hang of this, maybe at the start of this, you used to put the chin down to the chest, not even recognizing it. If you don't let that happen, you make the core do all the work. It's one thing they say is keep something in there to prevent that chin from going down, because now you've forced the core to do the work to pull you up. Lower back's on the floor and down. This is going to be a very small move, very small. We're going to take feet up. Nope, feet on the floor, sorry. Bringing the shoulders up off the floor, dropping the knees off to the side, bring it right back and down. So it's legs out, crunch, very, very small. You're working the obliques on this side. Since your body wants to twist that way, you're pulling the torso back, shoulders straight up to the floor or up to the ceiling, parallel with the floor, and back down. Out to the side just a little bit. Up. And back down. You want to be so careful with this one. Down, but it is such a great exercise for those obliques on the opposite side, that transverse muscle that runs across the core, to bring your shoulders flat and then right straight up and back down. So don't let yourself come up at an angle and then pull yourself back. Bring those knees down just a little bit. Get the shoulders flat on the floor and then come up and back down and go to the other side. Take your time. Get the shoulders flat and then bring it up and back down. If you feel any problems with the lower back with that one, your knees are going down too far. Don't let them go down that far. Your core is not strong enough to bring those shoulders back on top while the knees are out on the side and to come right straight up. So you've got to work at that. It's a small move, but it's a beautiful move for getting those obliques and really getting them to tighten up. And back down, other side. And down. That's a fun one. That's a super fun one. All right. Suitcase crunch. Arms toward the ceiling. Knees up. Heels come up. Shoulders come up. Right towards the ceiling. Hips right straight up. Shoulders right straight up. Contracting that muscle right in the middle of the core. Exhale, which means you're using that muscle to tighten up, get the air out of the lungs, and then lower back stays on the floor, nice and slow back down. So this one is easy if you just like kick off and bring it up. It is also a lower back killer. So you want to be careful with this. Up, small. Just bring those heels up a little bit, shoulders up. That's all you have to feel. Once you squeeze those muscles, tailbone's going to roll up just a little bit, squeeze, and back down. The smaller you can keep the moves on the floor when you're doing back exercises, the better off you are, the less chance you have of getting injured. But if you exhale, this little tiny move is doing all kinds of work. And back down. Squeeze it. And bring it back down. A couple more. If you can hold up here like this just for a couple counts, time under tension. Oh, you feel it. One more time. Up. Squeeze it. And back down. Your shoulders may come up, and your shoulders may not even come up off the floor. You may just feel these muscles tightening up. Bring that neck up just a little bit. And the heels maybe 1 foot at a time. You need to feel those muscles work. If that's where you're at, that's where you're at. All right, next one. Up. Back up. Arms behind. Shoulder blades back. Deep breath in, stretch out the chest. Just kind of relax here for a second. Legs out front, kickstand behind. So what we're trying to do is don't do this, reaching forward toward the toes. It's a good stretch for the back, but if you have any twist at all, any movement across, if you start reaching across like that, you're going to feel that lower back start to strain. Remember, there's no movement back there in the lower back. Those muscles just stretch out and they're not supposed to. Keep your shoulder blades back instead, and then walk the hands up. And from here, you can push off on those fingertips and bring yourself forward. And you're going to feel the same stretch, but you're still putting the weight. Shoulder blades are back. Keeping the shoulders straight as you come up. You can't twist this way because you're using those hands to prevent you from twisting. And back down, laying into the shoulders as you come back, putting the weight into those arms. One more time, up. Bring the toes back on this one. Feel the stretch in the lower half of the legs, the calf muscles. Lower legs, back half. Don't put your head back looking up at the ceiling like I just was. Always looking right straight out in front of you, keeping a neutral spine. Less chance of injury. And back one more time. Push through the hands. Bring the toes back. This stretches in the calf muscles. If you relax the toes, push yourself forward just a little bit more. This one is in the hamstrings, back of the thighs. Hold there and bring it up. Same width, same as it ever was. Heels together or as close as you can get to that. So you may have your feet out. Maybe this is as far as you can get. You don't have the stretch to the groin muscle. This is a really good exercise to do then, because little by little you'll be able to bring them in. It's not about how close you can get the heels into the groin. That doesn't matter. It'll come. It'll come. You just go as far as you can. Start to feel that stretch. Be careful with this one. Groin muscles. If you pull them, they heal very slowly. So be really careful with this. You just want to feel the start of a stretch. And again, it's pushing up. You want that balance. Right and left should be the same. Shoulder blades back. Walk it in. Again, it's a slow, small move. And it's incremental. You start walking your hands in just a little bit until you feel it. So you have all the control in the world over that stretch. If you lean forward, gravity is pulling you down. You've got weight way out there, all kinds of momentum. You don't have as much control over those groin muscles, and you can get into a situation where you can stretch them or pull them. And back down. In all these exercises, it's really about having control. All right, I'm a control freak. Right foot up, left leg extended, hands back, and start walking in to that front leg. You're looking for the stretch outside of the hip, the piriformis. So shoulder blades are back, chest is out. And you don't have to bring that knee up very high. The adjustment's happening through the back. You're pushing that chest out. Again, totally incremental. And do whatever you need to do to make sure that you're getting just the outside of the hip. If you start bringing that leg in too far, you're going to get the hip flexor. You don't want that, just the outside of the hip, piriformis only. And back. So that is a muscle that does need to be stretched a lot. It gets really tight, and that causes all kinds of lower back and balance problems. Switching sides we are. So it took me a couple of years, really, to find this specific way to get into the piriformis that really has the most impact with the most control, where you can really control the side to side, as opposed to laying on your back and bringing your heel in to the butt, because you have a tendency to roll back side to side on that one. This one, you're totally in control of that side to side movement. And bring it down. Leads us to rotation. Outside. Left hand outside the right arm. So I'm leaning forward into it. That's how I used to do it all the time. Shoulder blades back. Back shoulder is the one that moves. Not the front. Front stays right where it is. Start to bring that back one in alignment with the front. Chin stays up, chest stays out. And bring it together. If you do that, rolling only that shoulder out, you're working all these muscles in the upper half of the back, bringing that shoulder back, using these core muscles to bring you back. You're not using the lower back to twist with. And I have to stop showing that. All right. I go, don't do this. And then I do that and I hurt myself. Other side, shoulder blades back. And when I say shoulder blades back, what you're doing is you're drawing them in. So even though they're not quite straight across, you bring them back. But that's why when you get into the stretch and you got that back shoulder back as far as it'll go, do it one more time and you'll get even more with those shoulder blades back. Giving yourself an even better stretch from the middle of the back up to the shoulders. And all the way down the spine, which feels really good. But it only gets to that T-spine. It only misses the lower back completely. Up we go. Very slowly. I'm going to go the other way. Here we go. So again, that was a modification. I have a back injury right now. And when I go to one side, it hurts. If I go the other way, it doesn't. I found that out. It's being aware of your body. Every time you make movement, you should be aware of what's going on with your body. Are you in alignment? Does anything hurt? Why is that? Why does it hurt? All right, feet out. Shoulder blades back. Hip hinge. Butt right straight back. Knees over the ankles, foot flat on the floor. And drive the hips in. We're going to take going down, arms right straight down into a squat, making sure the shoulder blades stay back, back stays in neutral. Up over the top, arms over the head, going down to the left side, your right side first, ear on the inside of that arm, bring it down. Upper body's doing all the movement, shoulder gets the stretch, rib cage, obliques, above the hips, all the way up the side to the fingertips. Other side, same thing. Out, over, pull, pull. Really engage these muscles on the side to pull you back up again. So you're not pulling with the arm. You're using those obliques, a little bit on the shoulders to help you up. What you're trying to avoid when you come up is leaning forward and to the side, and then trying to bring yourself up, twisting and bending at the same time. Bad combo. Bad combo. Arm across. Shoulder blades back. We're going to step out on this one. Out to the side. Roll the shoulders. And bring it back into the middle. Other side. Out. Solid foot right there. Only the shoulders move. Hips stay forward. And bring it back in one more time each side. Out. And rotate. Here we go. Out. And rotate. I like this wider stance. Less chance of the hips rolling than when you're here. Easy for the hips to roll. Out here, you can feel it. And bring it back in. Shake that out. Down and up. Reach. Up over the top. Deep breath in. Stomach out. Open up those lungs. Get the diaphragm out of the way so you can get air down to the lower part of the lungs. Take it back down. Woo. Little dizzy. One more time. Up over the top. Stomach out. Arms down. We are good. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. I will see you next week. And be back. Would you please? Come on back. Thank you.